Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome back to the Identity Glow Up podcast. It is me, your host, Paige Harper, and I am here to help you become your most epic, amazing, next level boss bitch, badass identity ever. I feel like I mess that up every single time, but we're going to roll with it, okay? But before we get started today, first of all, if you hear my dog screaming in the background, he's completely fine. I put him in the room because he has really bad anxiety and he is struggle busing a little bit today. So he is in the bedroom. He's completely fine. I don't think you're going to be able to hear him, but if you do, that's what's happening. Also, please go ahead and just take a minute if you have not already. Just take a minute to subscribe, whether you're watching on YouTube, hey, or whether you are listening on Apple, Spotify, any of the other podcast apps. Go subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and review. Let me know what you think about the episodes. Let me know what you want to hear next. Like tell me all the things. This podcast is for you. I love coming on here every single week and talking to you, but I want to know what you think, how you feel, what you want to hear. And also, when you subscribe and you leave a 5-star rating and review, it helps the podcast reach so many other amazing women just like you. Like imagine if we all got together and we had this we were just these boss bitch women that went after our dreams. And if more women did that, like, hello, the world would be such a better place. So make sure you do all that. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, the broadcast channel, all of the places. I am going to put the links to of all of them. Obviously, Threads is just through my Instagram, but I'll put the links to everything in the show notes for you to make it easy peasy. So, hello. Happy Tuesday. As always, this is, well, not as always, as most of the time, this is Monday when I'm recording. I'm actually starving, so I'm going to try not to talk too fast right now because I really need some lunch. This day has been absolutely insane. This whole week is going to be insane, to be completely honest with you. Like, holy moly. So, I have so much going on. I am definitely, if I'm being totally honest, I am mentally exhausted, not because of my business, but because life is lifing. I have my kids, I think it's a tonsillectomy. Is that what it's called? He's getting his tonsils and his adenoids taken out on Friday. He's only 6, so we're all very nervous, or I should say, me and Tim are very nervous because we've never really had to go through a surgery like this before. I don't know what to expect, especially with him. So that is in the back of my brain right now. And yeah, so the only thing that's keeping me running at the moment, I also worked an overtime shift, a 4-hour overtime shift this morning, so I'm a wee bit behind. But the only thing that's keeping me running right now is my obsession, my standards, my no excuses vibes, my drive, caffeine, and lots of delusion. That's essentially what's keeping me going at the moment. So, just in case you needed a reminder that I'm not perfect and I get a little bit mentally exhausted too, hey, it's happening. So, okay, so like I said, I have my normal Monday of like boss bitch style doing all of the things, but also I worked 4 hours of overtime this morning. I have a free masterclass the evening that you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, the 16th, I have a free masterclass this evening, which I will link below in the show notes. And I have my son's tonsillectomy. And that same son decided to jump over a fire pit yesterday. Thankfully, thank the Lord, I should have started with this. It was not lit. There was no fire, thank goodness. But he did land in the fire pit and scraped up his knees a little bit. But he essentially, the edge of our fire pit is very sharp. And he scratched up his arm pretty good. So now I have to deal with that too, on top of him having a tonsillectomy this weekend. So I'm a little overwhelmed on the family forefront, but we're going to push through. We're going to make it through this week, and I'm going to come out the other side of next week, and I'll be like, "Holy shit, that was easy." That's what I'm manifesting right now. That's what's coming. So please send me all of the recommendations for how to get through this. I keep saying tonsillectomy. I hope that's the right word. How to get through him getting a 6-year-old getting tonsils and adenoids out. How to stay sane during this when I know he's going to be an ass. And just send the good vibes if you could, because your girl is, I'm a wee bit nervous. little nervous. We got the popsicles, we got the ice cream, we got the yogurt, we got the applesauce, we got a lot of things. We got the Italian ice. We got a lot of things for Friday, but yeah, we're gonna be a little stressed. So send all the good vibes, send all the recommendations, all of the things. Very much appreciate it. But since I am a busy gal and I am running a little behind today because I got a lot on my plate at the moment on top of the 4-hour shift, which I was not expecting, let's get right on into the episode. So today I really wanted to talk about something that I actually journaled about here recently because If you know, you know, but if you don't, I actually am a little bit of a psychopath and when I work out in the morning, I journal during my workout. So I used to journal before my workout, but it got to the point where I was like, meh, this is boring. I'm not vibing with this. This is boring. I'm journaling to journal, but like I still wanted to because I do daily voice notes in ISP in my 6 month identity switch protocol program. And so I'm like, I like to have these like notes of things that have inspired me and that I can feed off of. And, I don't want to go into ChatGPT and be like, tell me what to talk about in identity switch protocol today. Like, ew, boring, gross. So this is how I do that. And now, or like having the journal prompts is how I can like get my own in my own brain, right? So now I actually journal as I'm working out. So I listen to a podcast. Actually, I listen to a YouTube called Motiversity. I think I've talked about it here on the podcast before. And it's essentially, like I said before, it is a bunch of like keynote speeches and things like that of normally men yelling and being very loud with like powerful background music. So I yeah, I've been doing that and journaling at the same time. And one of the things that I journaled on the other day was how discipline was sexy. And as you know, for 35, I have a goal of being hot, rich, and that bitch. That's my goal. I guess you would know if you are following me on Instagram. I don't know if I've talked about it here or not. Maybe I have. I don't know. My brain is all mush right now. But I want to be hot, rich, and that bitch at 35. I turned 35 on July 3rd. And I feel like part of being hot, rich, and that bitch is really vibing with and understanding and feeling aligned to who I currently am. And part of who I currently am is a disciplined biatch. Like I am a disciplined lady. I always have been. I always will be. And like I said, this came from a journal session that I did one morning while I was working out. And I put down a bunch of other stuff too. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. Actually, I think I wrote it down. So I wrote, discipline is sexy. Being relentless and like going after your dreams is sexy. Passion is hot. Get your head out of the gutter. Passion like towards your business, like being passionate about like your business and your next level life and who you are and what you're doing. Like it's good. It's hot. It's good. And then also consistency is desirable. Like people want to be consistent. Boss ladies want to be consistent. We have that desire, right? So discipline is sexy, passion is hot, consistency is desirable. And I want to really like feed into that, especially as I turn 35 in the next couple of weeks. And so when I was thinking, like, when I was writing this down, I was like, okay, for a while, I actually thought that like to be a sexy woman, I had to be like super, super feminine, right? I had to be I don't know, like in it's almost like in the sense of like the man's world. It's like to be like sexy, it's like the way that you look and the way that you dress. Like that's what I think of. Like, right, like a very like feminine, sexy kind of vibe. How many times can I say that word in this podcast? But I'm on the other side of things, it was almost to the sense that I felt like if you were driven, if you were a woman that was too driven, had this like masculine energy to you, which I'm very much masculine energy. Let's hustle, let's do the shit, let's go for it, right? And so it was almost like when I sensed that being feminine was more of this sexy vibe, when I thought of being masculine and women that were like hella driven, that was almost like too hardcore. And so I think the reason that I really thought of that or had that correlation, had that comparison was because that's a lot of what was on my algorithm, which I know was partly my fault, but like that was the narrative that I was seeing online. To be a sexy lady, you got to dress a certain way, you got to act a certain way, you got to be like a lot more feminine, you got to be a lot more soft. And for me, I was not that way. And so I actually started to go in that feminine route where I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm too masculine. Maybe I'm in my masculine too much. Maybe I'm too hardcore, right? And not that I'm trying to like be look or like be sexy to anyone in particular. Like I have my husband, I am good. But like I hid my true boss bitch self for a while, I feel like, because I was thinking, okay, well, I need to be more in this feminine energy type of vibe. But thank the good Lord that I had a reality check. And I realized that being that girl, all caps, that girl is exactly where I needed to be. Like that I needed to be in this discipline. I needed to be in this consistency. I needed to have this passion. I needed to have this discipline. Like I needed to be that girl in order to be fully me. And guess what? If I'm fully me, if I'm fully that girl, then like that girl's a hottie. hottie with a body. That girl is like that. She's that girl. She's that bitch. She's sexy. She is like that girl because she is fully her. And for me, being fully her was being that disciplined, hustle, obsessed, like woman. That was me. Right. And so I had to come to terms with this like obsession. And we talked about obsession a lot. I've had to come to terms with that, this obsession that I had for myself and for my business and almost be okay with taking it to the extreme. Whereas some people are like, oh no, don't be too obsessed with yourself. I'm like, girl, be more obsessed. Like, be more obsessed with yourself. Like, let's take it to the extreme. Let's take it to that next level. And so the question that I want to ask you is like, are you allowing yourself to play small or are you forcing yourself to play small because you're almost scared of what it means and what other people will say if you show up fully obsessed, if you show up fully disciplined, if you show up fully in whatever energy you embody the most? For me, it's like this masculine obsession, uh, disciplined, whatever energy, right? Like that's me. And I was afraid to show up as her because I that was different. That wasn't the norm. That wasn't who I thought I should be. And so I showed up differently, which held me back a lot and got me to play small when I shouldn't have been playing small. So are you allowing yourself to play small because you're scared of what it means if you show up fully obsessed, if you show people that side of yourself? Like, have you ever, and I know the answer to this, and don't lie to me, have you ever felt guilty for wanting more? Moms out there, I know you have, don't lie. Have you ever felt guilty for wanting more? Have you ever downplayed your dreams because you didn't want to seem too self-obsessed, or you didn't want to seem too selfish, or you didn't want to seem like you're not focused enough on like the things that quote unquote matter the most, like your kids, which they do matter the most. I shouldn't have been like woo on that. But are you too like are you afraid to go all in because you'll be looked at like, "Oh, well, okay, who does she think she is? She's too obsessed. She's whatever. She's not taking care of her kids enough. She's not doing enough for her kids. She is all in on her business, whatever." And maybe you don't have kids, but you get my drift, right? Like you're afraid of looking like you want too much. You're afraid of looking like, or you have this almost guilt of wanting more when you should already be obsessed with the life that you do have because it's a life that you've always wanted. Like for me, for instance, like I always wanted to be a mom. I was not the girl that played with Barbie dolls. I didn't want Barbie dolls. Get those things away from me. I wanted baby dolls. I wanted baby dolls because I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to act like I was carrying around a child. I loved being a fake mom to those baby dolls. So when it came to, oh, my alarm just went off. I didn't think it would because I have it on do not disturb, but I guess maybe not because it's 75 hard time and I need to be drinking water. But anyway, I wanted to be this mom. And so like was fully I was fully in my feminine and I thought that that's what I needed to do. That's who I needed to be. And so when it came time to be a mom, I really focused on being a mom. That was my focus, but something was missing. Something was missing. And then I found my business and then I became obsessed with my business. And so, yeah, in the beginning, it was really easy for me to have this mom guilt and feel guilty for wanting more out of my life because I already have everything I always wanted. I had everything I always wanted with being a mom and having these kids that are beautiful and amazing and wonderful and a pain in my ass, but so amazing. Like I have these beautiful boys. So why would I want more? And so I almost felt selfish. And if you're feeling the same way, let me know. But I almost felt this like selfish that I shouldn't be this obsessed with things. I shouldn't be this obsessed with my business. It's because it doesn't really have anything directly to do with my kids. I mean, obviously, like I'm building a legacy. I'm becoming a woman that they can look up to, that they can like make sure that they are like with strong boss bitch women, right? But I got to the point where I had to be like, no, I shouldn't be guilty. I shouldn't downplay my dreams because I'm selfish. Honestly, I feel like I'm being more selfish if I'm not going after my dreams, right? But have you ever told yourself that you're doing too much? Have you ever told yourself that the drive and the discipline that you want and that you have deep down inside of you is too much and you need to start having better work-life balance? The dreaded work-life balance. That is so freaking fake. It's not even legit. So, I know it's very masculine energy of me. Welcome to the Identity Glow Up podcast where I am masculine energy type of girl. And not in the sense if you don't really know what that means. This doesn't mean like in the way that I dress or anything like that. It's just like I have hustle, I have drive, I go for it. I go all in. I go for it. Like I am all about the soft life vibes, and I have that once I'm done hustling my ass off, and then I can go into my soft life vibes, and that is very much me, right? But I know it's very masculine energy of me, but I say that we need to celebrate the like obsession factor that we have. Or maybe add in an obsession factor if you don't already have it. Celebrate the discipline and the passion that we have towards our dreams instead of spending more time shaming ourselves for it, right? Which I feel like that's what most women and moms do, even if it's not out loud, we're doing it to ourselves because it's this like loud inner voice that we have, right? It's this loud inner voice that most women allow to take over because that says like, oh, well, you're not focused enough on your kids. You're not focused enough on your kids. You're too focused on your life. You're too focused on your business. You're too focused on becoming your best self. You're not focused enough on your kids, so you suck and you're not a good enough mom, which is not true. It's not true unless you are an actual bad mom. But I guarantee you, the women that are listening to this podcast, you are not. And the thing is that society celebrates obsession in so many other areas. So it pisses me off that it doesn't celebrate it in women celebrating themselves and being obsessed with themselves. But like society celebrates this obsession with athletes, right? Like we have I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not even going to try. There's something with basketball, something with soccer going on right now. Girl, I don't know. We're not a sports family over here. We don't have sports on the TV at all over here. I don't know. It's just what I see online. But like society celebrates obsession in athletes, right? Society celebrates obsession in male CEOs. Like they're okay if men are like that are CEOs are obsessed with their work, which most of them are, right? Which is totally fine. But we as a society celebrate that and we're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay that they are. It's okay that they're at work all the time. But a woman, no, can't do that. And I'm not saying you have to be at work all the time, but I'm just showing that like there's so many double standards. Like society celebrates obsession in musicians and actors and all of that, but especially like the male counterparts, right? Because you have this narrative of like, well, women shouldn't you be home with the kids? What is this woman doing? Like, shouldn't you be home with the kids? Kind of vibes and even comments. Like, and when I was putting together this podcast, I was thinking about like, okay, who could I bring up as an example? And the first example that came up for me was Whitney from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, where she literally got slammed on a podcast because they were like, oh, well, she's going on Broadway. She's going to be gone so long. Who's going to take care of the kids? Like, isn't that horrible that she's gone away from the kids for so long? And it's like, she has a husband that was an equal part in making that child, so he can watch him. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, we're not, as women, a lot of the times we're not celebrated as much in society for going after our goals, for being obsessed with it to the point where we're actually taking shit to the next level. Excuse me. But when women become obsessed with their goals, suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, this is a big problem. And it's a big problem to society, but it's also a big problem to us personally. Like we feel like we're doing too much, but I feel like in a sense it's because society is telling us we're doing too much because we're not staying at home with the kids. We're having daycare raise our kids. We're having like these conversations where women need to be like at home. End of story. And I know that's extreme, but that's what I see a lot of. And I think it's bullshit. So I want to challenge everything that you've been taught about balance, about obsession, about discipline, and about success. So let's just lay it all out there. With everything I just said, like, of course, most women are afraid to fully lean into this like obsession factor, lean into this obsession of themselves and of their business and all of that. Like, they're afraid. And of course they would be because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to look down. They don't want to be looked down on. They don't want to feel like they're not doing enough as a mom because I guarantee you, if you're anything like me, as soon as you're done with this obsession of the job or the business or whatever that you're doing, guess what? You get your ass up and you're a snack bitch. And you're the mom that is like buying the groceries, putting the groceries away, making the food, being the one that's in charge of all, like knows when they're having certain days of like, you know, in school when they have like different days, they dress up in different ways, like, you know, every single day. So that way they don't miss a day. Like you're the one in charge of all of that. So you're obviously doing all of the things, even outside of your business, even if you're not spending every waking moment with your child, you're still doing the most. You're still doing the most, but we don't feel like we are because I feel like a lot of it, we put the guilt on ourselves, but we also have this outside standards of what we feel like we need to be doing. Okay. So of course it's like, okay, there's a little bit of feeling scared about fully leaning into this obsession of ourselves and of our business. And I think it needs to stop. I think it needs to stop. And I, I feel like we've been conditioned to believe that ambition is selfish and wanting more is greedy. Like we should be grateful with what we have, which we should, but it's not greedy to want more. But we've been conditioned to believe that ambition is selfish, wanting more is greedy, putting ourselves first is wrong. Good moms sacrifice everything, and if you're not sacrificing everything, then you're a shit mom. Good wives put everyone else first, especially their spouse, especially their kids, like they put them first. Thank goodness I don't have a husband like that. But so the result of all of this is that the woman's passion for this incredible life or business that we have, like I have this soul's mission, I have this passion, I have this excitement for this business. If I wasn't working it, that doesn't mean it would just go away. If I just decided like, oh, well, I don't know, I need to focus on my kids more, my passion and my like excitement for my business wouldn't just go away. It would fester. It would fester. It would be like, oh, I need something's missing, something's wrong, right? Like her outer world shows that like once she would like step back or whatever, right? Her outer world shows that she is just like interested, but she stays dabbling and trying and hoping and waiting instead of deciding because she's allowed the outside world to tell her what she's supposed to do and what she's not supposed to do. She allows the outside world to tell her that she can't have this big passion. She allows her thoughts to tell her that she should feel guilty for having this passion. And so she pushes it away, but it never actually goes away. It stays there. And so what ends up happening is she like kind of like creeps back in and she kind of shows a little bit of interest, right? Her outer world shows that she's like, oh, well, there's a little bit of interest there. Let's just kind of try here. Let's just kind of hope here. Let's just wait until the perfect moment when the kids are older. Let's just dabble here and dabble there. And she doesn't fully decide. And then she's like, well, maybe this isn't work. Maybe this it doesn't work for me. Maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe I'm not actually good at this. Maybe it's not actually my true passion. No, it's because it's still in there, but you're not fully deciding that you're going all in. You're not fully allowing yourself to be obsessed. You're not fully allowing yourself to be disciplined because you're too afraid of what that outside judgment will say or what that inner judgment will say. Like the first couple years of my business, even like I feel like if I were to be fully honest, I feel like the first couple of years of my business, I was just interested, quote unquote, as well. Right. Like I felt like I thought at the time that I was showing up really consistently, but looking back, like, no. No, I was just showing up as if I was interested in what I was doing, not if I had fully decided that I was going to go all in on it, right? And there's multiple reasons for that. But I think that I had these societal pressures that maybe like I was reading into, but I had these societal pressures like on my back or like in the back of my head where it's like saying that, oh, well, I was doing too much. I'm a mom at that point in time. Like I had what, 4 years ago is when I started my business. So my kids would have been 2 and 3. So I had a 2 and 3-year-old. Like, so I was telling myself like, oh, well, doing this and working my business is too much. I'm doing too much. I'm already a full-time pharmacist and now I'm taking away more time to work this business. Like, who do I think that I am? Like, all right, I'm away mentally too much. I'm away physically too much. And at that point in time, I wasn't working from home, I don't think. Maybe I was, or just newly working from home for my job. So I was gone even more. And I decided like, in my brain, I was like, well, I decided to be a mom. I decided to have kids. I decided to have kids 18 months apart, 19 months apart, whatever they are. So, like, I guess now I need to focus only on that because that's what good women do. That's what good women do is once they're moms, they decide fully to go all in on their kids and nothing else. And I know there are some women that are going to disagree with me and be like, well, yeah, that is what that is what it means. And you know what? Totally fine if you believe that. But for me, like, I am so much more than just a mom. I am so much more than just a mom. And when I allowed myself to hold myself back and not go after certain dreams and only just be merely interested instead of like fully going all in and fully deciding, I was miserable. I was miserable. And I hate even saying that because that sounds so wrong. It wasn't that my kids were making me miserable. It's that I was fully identifying as a mom and as a wife instead of who I really am, which is a woman that has big dreams and big goals outside of just being a mom and a wife. Right? And so what happened when I decided that like, okay, I need to focus mainly or only on my kids and like what's going on right now. So what that ended up looking like was I was sticking with a job that made a good amount of money consistently. Like I make a good living in my pharmacist job. Of course I do. Like why I went to school to be a pharmacist, to be honest with you. It wasn't for some big, like, I love helping people. I mean, I do, obviously, but like, that's not why I went in this job. I looked at how can I help people, but also make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Pharmacy, like it just like that. That was it. Like being a pharmacist, maybe not a tech, unfortunately, but like being a pharmacist, like which techs do need to make more, but it's fine. We won't go into that. But like for me, when I decided, okay, like maybe I'm away too much. Maybe I need to push back on my job a little bit. Maybe I need, or my business a little bit. Maybe I need to not be, I'm doing too much essentially. And I had a lot of outside voices in that too. And so for me, that was like sticking with the job that made the most amount of money consistently, which was sticking with the job that I hated. And I hate saying that I hate my job because again, it's been great for me, but it's not aligned to who I am at all. Right. And then I also stayed safe in this identity of, I had this realization the other day. I stayed safe. I decided to stay safe in this identity of a pharmacist, but it was a pharmacist who had a side business. That was my identity. Instead of what I've switched to recently, which is I'm a business owner who is doing pharmacy work for now. And when I didn't have that latter identity, that I don't know if I use that in the right term, but you know what I mean. If I didn't have that identity, or when I did not have that identity of being a business owner that's just working in pharmacy for now, and instead I have like I'm a pharmacist. That's my big header. Like even I'm a pharmacist and a mom with a side hustle. Of course I wasn't going to show up. Of course I wasn't going to be disciplined. Of course I wasn't going to go all in. Why would I? Right? My business did not start growing until I became obsessed. Until I became obsessed, convicted, disciplined, committed, and consistent AF. Like that's when my business started to grow. When I started releasing this guilt of feeling like I had to balance everything out, feeling like I had to have this work-life balance, feeling like I had to just solely be a mom, and that's what I in a wife, and that's if I wanted to be a good mom and a good wife, then I would focus more on them than I do anything else in the whole entire world. And if I'm going after my dreams, then who the hell do I think that I am? I had to get rid of that. I had to get rid of that belief inside of my brain. And I had to allow myself to fully believe that it was sexy AF and that I was like that I was going out and that I was doing these things, that I was going after my dreams, that I was doing things that other people wouldn't. And not that I need to be looking not that I'm like wanting to or needed to be looked at like a sexy lady. Like that's not my main vibe, that's not my main goal, right? But I had to fully believe that like I was like this disciplined boss bitch, sexy woman, like hot rich and that bitch. Like I was becoming that woman, that I was doing that, and that I had the ability to be an incredible and focused mom on top of being a boss bitch business owner. You get to do them both. You've heard me talk about this before. You get to have it all. You get to do it all. I get to be masculine and feel sexy when I'm like in this like disciplined era of my life, in this boss bitch era of my life. I'm even wearing like slacks right now. Who am I? I'm wearing slacks and I'm working from home, but like I get to feel like this disciplined boss business owner and feel sexy in that and feel like I'm passionate about that and just feel good about that, as well as making the switch as soon as my kids come home where I am this powerful but present mom. And I can be this like homemaker and this chef and snack bitch to little kids and be in my feminine as well and have that be like the sexy vibes. Obviously, you know what I mean. That sounds weird, but you get what I'm saying, I hope. You get what I'm saying, where it's like I can be feminine in the way of like I'm a good mom, I'm a good wife, all of that. Like I'm presenting in this way of like I'm looking good and feeling good for my husband in this feminine way because I'm being the woman, I'm being the mom, I'm doing all of these things, which is what society makes us look at as like this is what is desired, right? Whereas like when I'm in my masculine, it's not looked at as desirable, but like to me, that is also desirable. That is also desirable. I'm not just like this like amazing woman that's like desired when I'm a mom and a wife. I'm also this amazing woman that's desired when I'm a boss bitch. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down here. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I just feel like there's a huge difference between like I would like to be a successful business owner and like I'm making it happen no matter what. And I had to get to that point that like I am making it happen no matter the guilt that I may feel, no matter the pushback that I may have from society, from myself, from my thoughts, all of those things. Because like we deserve to have a life, to have a business, to have a thing that we're fully passionate about. We deserve to have that outside of just being a mom, just being a wife, just being like a woman. Like we deserve that. And I feel like obsession is simply just like this commitment that we have to ourselves with emotion attached to it. Like when I say I'm obsessed with my business, it's this commitment that I have where there's this emotion attached to it too. You can say that you're committed, and that's great. And I'm sure some of you are like, yeah, I am committed, but are you really? Are you really committed? Like, can you take actions like in this boss bitch way? Like, can you take actions like you are you, not even can you, are you taking actions like you're a committed woman? Are you like committed to your business, committed to your life, committed to your next level, committed to your dream, committed to your desires? Not just committed to your husband, not just committed to like the being a mom, being a wife, all those things, but committed to who you're becoming outside of all of that. Like, sure, again, you can say you're committed. You can even take actions kind of sort of like you're committed. But when you attach this like obsession emotion to it, you become unstoppable. Like you become fully unstoppable when you decide that you are going to attach obsession to everything that you do. Imagine if you tied obsession to being a business owner, to everything that you do, to all of the actions that you take, to reaching out to people even though it's uncomfortable. Like you attach that obsession factor to that. Imagine where your business would go. Imagine you attached obsession to being a mom, being a wife. Like you're obsessed with your kids. You're so obsessed with like who they are and who they're becoming and how amazing they are and how freaking cute they are. And you're obsessed with your husband. You're obsessed with your spouse. You're obsessed with like the fact that you've been together for so long and that you still love each other and that you're going on like you're obsessed with them too. Imagine how much in like this feminine way you also would have such a better life because and be unstoppable as a mom and as a wife as well because you attached obsession to it. We need to start attaching obsession to more things. That's my belief at least, right? We need to start attaching obsession to our business as well and reminding ourselves that discipline, when we are disciplined, we are sexy MFers. We are those women. Like we are going all in, right? And just to like touch on balance for like just a minute, because obviously that's been a huge topic with women and with especially moms, I feel like for so long, like this work-life balance thing. But like when you talk about balance, you take out all the passion, all the excitement, all of like the sexiness out of building a business and out of discipline because you are so focused on this boring ass, unrealistic balance. Something that I don't even know who told us we have to achieve, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And so I want to first have you ask yourself, like, what even is balance to you? Like, what does that actually mean to you? Because most women define it as like, or I don't even know if they fully define it, but I feel like most women, when they think about balance, they think of like, oh, well, balance, a scale, whatever, like equal attention to everything, equal energy to everything, equal effort to everything. But the thing is that life doesn't work that way. That's like a fantasy world, my friend. That is a fantasy world. And while I want you to live in Delulu land, I want you to also be realistic when it comes to like, there's no possible way to equally balance out everything. There's just not. Especially like someone like me who is a mom, a wife, a business owner, a pharmacist. Like I do a lot. So imagine me trying to like split all of that into quarters. Quarter of time here, quarter of time here. Like, no. Like sometimes, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I do work my business a little bit more than I hang out with my kids. Like this week, I am working my business a lot because I have a lot on my plate. I have a free masterclass tonight. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, I have a bunch of other stuff coming up, which you'll soon find out about. I have a lot on my plate. I have a lot on my plate. I have podcasts that I'm doing podcast interviews, things like that. So there's a lot going on. So yeah, sometimes I do spend more time with my business than I do my kids. However, I also have the opportunity like yesterday. Yesterday, as I'm recording this, was a Sunday. I worked a shit ton in the morning, but then I put my computer down, I put my phone down, and I spent the whole day with those kids. The whole day. I also spent the whole day being a mom and a wife where I'm like cooking and cleaning and doing laundry and all of that. I get to do that too. So yeah, if you look at it that way, I also wasn't balanced in that way because I was doing a lot more and spending a lot more time with my kids and as a mom, as a wife, than I was being a business owner. And that's okay too. Like there are going to be seasons where your kids need more and even different days, not even full seasons, but different days, different weeks, different months where your kids need more, where your work needs more, where your balance or where your marriage needs more, where your business needs more. it's not realistic to think that we're always going to be able to give equal attention and equal time to every single thing. And so the problem when women chase balance, the problem becomes that they spend more time managing this guilt than actually pursuing their goals. When you are constantly pursuing balance, when your focus is balance, you are spending more time managing guilt than pursuing your goals. Think about that. Think about how much time you are managing your guilt when you should be spending time with your kids. How much time you're managing guilt when you could be working on your business and getting shit done quickly so you can go spend more time with your kids. Imagine how much time you're managing guilt instead of getting your shit done and then spending all of this time with your kids and your husband, your spouse, whatever. Imagine. But you are spending so much more time now because you're trying to balance all this shit out, because you're trying to be more like, this like typical, normal, quote unquote, like mom that is like present all the time with your kids, but you're not going after your goals. So you're not fully there anyway. Your brain's not fully there and you're managing this guilt of not going after your business. So then you're constantly feeling behind. You're constantly feeling overwhelmed. You're constantly feeling like you're not enough, which is not sexy. That's not sexy. That's the opposite of what I'm talking about today. Like, that's not. And that's all because you thought that in order to be like the quote unquote typical woman, you need to be the mom, be the wife, be the person that's like more feminine. But then all while you're doing that, you're in your head because you're like, I want something more. I have this dream. And you're not going after that, which is not cute. Not cute. Or we could go the opposite way where you are working your business, but while you're working your business, you are managing more guilt than you are actually going all in on your business. And so the discipline isn't really there. The passion isn't really there, which is also not cute, not sexy. So then you're like effed. You're like stuck between two worlds that you want to be in both, but you don't know how because you're balancing it out. And yeah, balance sounds beautiful. It sounds amazing. It sounds wonderful, but it's not realistic. And it often just becomes this permission that we give ourselves, that we shouldn't give ourselves, that we don't have to go all in. It's this permission slip to ourselves to never fully become like this disciplined boss bitch, to never fully become relentless, to never fully become consistent or passionate. And I just want to get like one thing clear is that I'm not teaching. I'm not talking about burning yourself out. I don't want you to burn yourself out. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not teaching burnout or exhaustion or neglecting your family or working 24/7 because that's like more of a toxic hustle. And I'm not talking about that at all. Like, because this toxic hustle means like more is always better. Sleep when you're dead. Sacrifice everything. Productivity equals worth. Like that's what we're doing. And I actually just listened to a podcast recently where Gary V, I think it was Gary V. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Sorry, Gary V. If it's not you, I think it was though. He said, if you're going to come to me and tell me that you don't have time in a world where I work every second for 18 hours a day, you're going to have a tough time making me feel bad when it's not happening for you, because that's part of it. And I think that's bullshit too. I am disciplined. I'm a hustle queen. I am that woman, but we don't need to do burnout either. It's also not sexy to have burnout. It's also not sexy to be so overly disciplined that it's not even discipline anymore. It's just straight toxicity. And we're not here for that, Gary Vee or whoever said that. We're not here for it. Like, I want to teach this purposeful obsession, knowing what matters, knowing what season you're in, being so deeply committed to your vision, being willing to stay on the course. I believe, and honestly, I know that a woman can be present with her kids. I know because it's me. Hey, like I know that a woman can be present with her kids, be connected with her husband, take care of herself, and still go all in on her dreams and be obsessed with her mission all along the way. Those things are not mutually exclusive. And they may look different to moms and women business owners than to men in this industry, but it's still all possible. Discipline is sexy. Yes, but it also creates confidence, and that confidence is earned by showing up and doing the damn thing. Every time you keep a promise, every time you follow through, every time you show up, every time you like show up scared, every time you stay consistent, every time you do the batshit crazy things that no one else will do, which is really fun to do, by the way, and that you never thought you'd do. It turns into this holy shit, I can do this moment, and you build up evidence. You build up evidence that discipline is sexy AF. Discipline is sexy because it's self-respect and it builds confidence. It says that like you trust yourself enough to do what you said you were going to do. And for me, this place where this obsession and this discipline and this passion, this consistency and all of this ties together as a mom, especially, is what I've like defined as this rooted and relentless lifestyle, this rooted and relentless woman. And what I mean by that is like rooted is like present and connected and intentional and grounded in my values, like with my family and with my faith and with my health and with my presence, while also being relentless AF, like being committed, being focused, being disciplined, being persistent, like with your dreams, with your goals, with your standards, with your business, being fully you, not just a mom, not just a wife, but fully you. Like you get to build up this whole new sexy identity, and who doesn't want that? Hey, not in the way of like dressing differently necessarily, but in the way of showing up differently, being the way of being fully you in all areas. Like how freaking amazing would that be? Like would that feel to be fully you? You don't have to choose between motherhood and ambition, peace and success, presence and growth. You can be both. And that's why I love this rooted and relentless vibe. And if there's one thing that I want you to take away from today's episode, it's this. Balance isn't what creates freedom. It's not what creates freedom of this like permission of being fully you. Commitment creates freedom. Discipline creates freedom. Self-trust creates freedom. And I just don't believe and I don't give in to this belief that balance is the answer anymore. I believe that the answer is learning to be fully present in your life while being unapologetically committed to your vision. Fully present in your life and being unapologetically committed to your vision. Because the women who are building incredible businesses while raising families and working full time aren't balancing the way that you think they are. They certainly aren't better at this like work-life balance BS that everybody like tries to like stick with, right? They've just said F it to the work-life balance. They are thinking differently. They are operating differently. They are managing their energy differently. And they're no longer chasing this version of success that requires them to shrink their dreams. Okay? We need to stop holding ourselves back because we're trying to hold on to this like made up balance that's just not possible. We need to let our disciplined and passionate and consistent and relentless AF flag fly. Like we need to just let it go, which is why I created my free masterclass. That is, if you're listening to this at the time that it came out, so the day that it comes out, which is Tuesday, June 16th, is my free masterclass. This is why I created this masterclass, Balance is a Lie. And this is all about how to use obsession to grow your business while being the mom who does it all at the same time. And we go live tonight. Again, if you're listening to this on the actual day it came out, going live tonight. There is going to be a replay available, but only for a short period of time, and then it's going to go away. So make sure you are there live or watch it soon after, because in this masterclass, you are going to learn why the pursuit of balance is keeping you stuck, the biggest lie ambitious moms have been sold, why guilt is destroying your presence in both business and motherhood, the identity shift that allows you to stop choosing between your dreams and your family, how to become fully rooted in your life while remaining relentless in your mission. And this rooted and relentless framework, which I'm really excited about, I kind of added it in last minute, but this rooted and relentless framework that allows you to pursue both things, both being rooted and being relentless without apology. So if you're done shrinking your dreams, if you're tired of feeling guilty every single time you work, if you're ready to stop living with like one foot in each world, if you're ready to be disciplined and feel good while doing it, you need to join or listen to the replay. And the link is going to be in the show notes in order for you to join and save your spot. So make sure you go in there, and I cannot wait to see you there. Okay, that's all I have for you today. If you love this episode, please make sure you share it to your stories with your takeaway, your favorite part, and obviously tag me so I can see you and I can share it to my stories too. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you guys next week. Love you. Bye.